Hi guys. So I'm back again with another tutorial slash video. Or I think the past few times I think I've like kind of gone more into like vlogging. Um this past like week has been like pretty quiet. Mainly because I've also just been like composing a lot more and I've been scoring. And I'm just kind of practicing a lot lah. Basically this part of the video basically wait, let me just check. Oh yeah, this part of the video is basically me showing you guys and breaking down a cover of a reimagination of a classical piece. Sounds complicated, but I actually watched this video by this composer and the co-founder of this sample library called Spitfire Audio. His name is Christian Henson Music. If you haven't checked him out yet, do go over to his YouTube page and like watch his tutorials and like many of the tutorials that his partners and his colleagues do as well on YouTube. He really does break it down very nicely, even for the most layman like term. I'm not very experienced in classical or orchestration music or orchestra music. Theory wise, I suck. Performance wise, on the piano, I suck. Um, Melodic harmony, I have no clue whatsoever. So basically, what I'm kind of just doing is just using my ears and kind of just relying on my inner creativity and my inner musicianship. I have some sort of training. I understand rhythms. I understand what sounds wrong and what sounds right and what sounds good and what doesn't. But all that comes from years and years and years of just listening to music, and basically it's a piece. It's called Gnossienne No.1. It's a well, you can say it's a part one of a three-part um classical piece. It's by Erik Satie. He's it's French, but there's some debate saying that his mom or somewhere like his grandmother is from Scotland. Um, I mean, like later on when you listen to the piece, you can kind of hear all these influences from the French side and from the Scottish side. Um, it's a very I've never really been into classical music, but I recently have been listening a lot, and I mean, one thing that really they're really good at is melodic harmonies. Erik Satie is actually known for composing his pieces using a lot of repetitive notes and always playing in chromatic. He was known throughout and through testimonies from his like lecturers and his friends. He's not the most talented musician. He's known as being lazy. He's not knowledgeable in the music sense. He's not technically good as well. But I think what happened with him is that he was just very adamant about being himself, and I feel like that's the beauty of arts as a whole. It's there's no you're not as good or you have no talent. It's all 90% hard work and 10% talent or no talent at all, and it's all hard work. And for a guy to even come up with a piece like this, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's well composed. Um, to me, it sounds catchy. Let's listen through the whole piece as a whole. I have all my plugins basically already in here, and I've kind of froze my tracks, and it's all in audio wave format. Today specifically, I'm using the BBC Symphony Orchestra plugin library from Spitfire Audio. It's the basic one. It's the Discover version, and it's I got it for free. All you have to do is just go to Spitfire Audio and fill in a survey and wait 14 days, and they'll send you a copy for free. And it's a very very good plugin. To be honest, it's very well recorded, top of the line stuff, and also a mix of Albion 1 orchestra and percussion and some Easter Island. For all you guys who use Albion 1s and who are fans of Spitfire. So without further ado, this is Gnossienne No.1 by Erik Satie. So yeah, I'm not gonna be you guys listen to the whole thing, but like this is basically a cover of a reimagination. Um, if you go and listen to Christian Henson's version, the format and the arrangement is almost the same. This I changed a little bit here and there. I added like an intro kind of thing, and I reharmonize some parts as well, and I change up the way the instruments are playing and the percussion as well. But pretty much everything is pretty much still the same. There's no change in melody line. There's no change in key. It's all still the same. I think it's in D minor to D major. Basically, the first part that you hear, it's let's solo the strings right here. So you hear like a little like rhythm going, the spiccato and like the pizzicato with the basses. The pizzicato is where they use their fingers. So it sounds like this, basically. So if you think about it, it's like a bass player, right? And then on the top, with the violins with doing the spiccato. So this together kind of creates a rhythm set for the piece itself. So if I just solo both of them, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3. So you can see right there, like that in a way kind of just is going mostly throughout the whole track, and it's the driving force of the track. And then at the same time, I actually added, I added like a little arpeggiated with the violas shots. And then what else I have going on is also like the violin twos, which is the second violins, and the first violins, playing longs as well. So, and they're all hard pan left and right. And then the last part, before going into like the verse, quote unquote, I have a little string runs. So basically, it's from Albion 1. It's this patch where it's all run patches. So basically, it's just the strings doing this kind of runs. So it's quite cool. I added like an auto pan in there, as you can see right here. It goes from left to right, so it feels like it's just going around the head. And then we go straight into the verse with sort of like the melody line. And for this one, I'm using the woodwinds. So, and I'll explain what the woodwinds are doing, what kind of woodwinds I'm using as well. So just have a listen to the verse. So these are the flutes. So the flutes are kind of playing in the mid high range. So I thought I should come in strong with a little something that is a little higher pitch, but not too high like a piccolo. So the flutes are just nice. I can show you the plugin. So the plugin looks like this. So this is the Spitfire BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover. So it's good because I have a visual understanding of, for a person who's new to orchestra music, this is a great plugin because I can see actually where they are placed in an orchestra pit, and it explains to me which ones are doing, and they have a description of what they do. So for the woodwinds, I was using flutes. So it goes from like low, from all the lower register instruments from the right, and then it goes all the way to the left with all the higher register instruments. So if you look, the violin ones are here, violin twos, the violas, and the celli, and the basses. Same thing here, the tuba, bass trombones, tenor trombones, trumpets, and then all the way on to the left side is the horns. Same thing, bassoons for the woodwinds, clarinets, oboes, flutes, and the piccolo. And then these three yellow things are all the percussion stuff. So they're all the way at the back because they are so loud. And so basically for the flutes, so if you can see on the piano roll over here, it's like on the mid-high range of the register, right? And then they have the staccato as well. So, and then you can have a reverb on here if you want. Yeah. So that's what the flute is doing. Going back again, and then after they play on the third time, and this is the clarinets. So basically, after the first part with the flutes, I went to something with a little bit of a lower register. Again, excuse me. And basically, it's doing like sort of like a call and answer with the bassoons. So if you it's basically just echoing whatever the clarinets are playing, but in a low register. So it creates more of like a little bit of like a movement, and in a way a change in color if you think about it in that sense. So the bassoons, show you guys how it sounds like with the bassoons. So the bassoons, they are like super low and they sound really rich. So it's and then for the clarinet, so it's kind of mid range, as you can hear. So that's what the so these are the oboes right here. So the oboes, I really like the way it sounds, and let's see how it sounds like. And that's pretty much it. That's what the woodwinds are doing, and they're kind of repeating throughout the whole track. But I think it really does complement the orchestra, and especially the string section, whatever they're doing. If you think about it, an orchestra is just basically 100-piece band, right? They have your low ends and your mids and your highs. So basically, you can't think of it as a music director. Like if you're looking at a band, there's 4 people. There's your drummer, keyboardist, guitar, and your vocalist, or 5-piece band with the bass. Because there's only 5 people, you need to fill up enough space to make it sound big and full. With an orchestra, because you have 100 over people, with 100 instruments, you do not need to cram all these notes into a single time. So what I feel, and what I personally feel sounds nice, is that you can actually separate everything, separate the chords, and have a chance to play open and freely. Hence, that's why like I have different sections with different kind of instruments playing off one another, with like for the example of the clarinets and the bassoons. So, and it makes a huge difference, and it's a kind of different take on the music itself. So we're gonna listen to the rest of the track, and we're gonna see what they're going on and what they're doing in the sort of like the first drop. In a more modern sense, it's the first chorus. Okay, so here we go. So basically, it's just playing that chorus melody, but in a more rubato sense. Basically, rubato is something that you're sort of like dragging. You're not kind of playing in time. You're just kind of playing behind. So it feels like it's very it's being slowed down, but it gives it more of a grandeur feeling, something that's very big and grand. So let's have a little like closer look at it. So basically, what I'm doing here is I'm playing the cello, which is the low ends, the second violins, and I have the first violins over here, and I have the basses. So just these 4 instruments playing in tandem. So, and then the basses. So now we're gonna move on to the next part, which is sort of like after the melody, the main melody gets played twice, and then we go into more of this like driving verse section. So I'm gonna play like a few bars going into this section so that we know what we're talking about. So here we go. So this is where like the percussion comes in, and this is where like I introduce a little bit more of the brass section. The brass section is kind of complements the percussion in a way. It's playing more rhythmic sense. It's playing more like rhythmic patterns rather than just long notes, you know. So right here I'm using let's actually like solo this, and like let's listen to what we have here. So as you can hear, like there's the trumpet staccato sound that's playing like, and then we have the brass mid section which are playing longs. So that's like basically lighting the tenor trombone side. So if you have a little listen at the trumpets. So oops. Right? And then with the tenor, so the tenors are playing like longs. So it's a little bit more of a, in a way, more metallic sounding. I wanted to add in more of a mid section, like in terms of the EQ. Like I wanted more mids in the mix, so that's where like I introduced like the brass section to just kind of beef it up a little bit more during like the second verse. So if you were to hear with the whole orchestra. So there you have it. And for the percussion, what I'm doing is I have a timpani doubling over some low and tom hits. So it's a mixture. It's a mixture between the timpanis and the Albion 1 Easter Island percussions. So just Albion 1 percussions would sound like this. So it's like a mixture of like a bucket hit with some metallic sounding claps. Really, really interesting sound. I thought that actually added sort of like a fresh vibe to the composition. It's a little bit more industrial sounding, more like cinematic sounding. So I decided to add that, and with the timpanis on top of it, playing in key. So together with just the percussion. Oh, so another thing that I wanted to add also was the harp and the celeste. So the celeste is basically like a piano It's like an upright piano, but rather than hitting strings, it's actually hitting metallic plates. So that's where you get that whole like heavenly sound. Um, if I solo that, right, together with the harp. So like it's a nice like layer on top of the percussions to give it more of a heavenly feel, if you wanna put it into words. And I think it sounds nice. I mean as long as it sounds nice can really, to be honest. I do not know what I'm playing. I was just kind of jamming out, just playing like just the chords itself. So it has worked pretty well, I guess. So let's listen through again. So going into it, so now we after this whole section, it goes on into the chorus again, but this time with everything else. So this is where I will introduce again the woodwinds together with the brass, and together with the, of course, the orchestras and the string and the percussion. So let's hear it. Let's hear the last section. Let's hear a few bars going to the last section. So that's where I also added like the cymbal hits and stuff like that, crashes, just to give it more of a dramatic feel, because the piece is actually, the original piece is just a piano piece. So like I said, this is a reimagination, reorchestration of the piece itself. And also with the brass, going back to the brasses. So So this is basically the whole tune itself. So we're looking at 30 tracks altogether. So we have the percussion section, we have the brass section, with the woodwind section, and we have the string section. So all that together kind of will bring in together like 100-piece orchestra. This is how it sounds like. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of thinking and a lot of thought process that you have to put your mind to, because you have to kind of think individually, but at the same time you need to make sure that individually the instruments are playing off other different sections in the orchestra, if you know what I'm saying. So basically the strings need to complement the brass, and the woodwinds need to complement the strings as well. So they all work hand in hand, but at the same time they're kind of just doing their own thing, but in tandem. Um, I'm also like kind of thinking of moving all my videos, not all, maybe a couple of the old ones, and this one included, onto my YouTube channel. Uh, do keep a lookout on the YouTube link that I'll be posting, and at the same time, I'll be posting the full mix of this track up on SoundCloud. If you want to go check it out, I'll have the link in my bio as well. And on the YouTube side, I'm gonna be posting this video up on YouTube on my channel. I did already have a channel, but I'm just not very active in it because I'm lazy. But I'm planning and I am adamant in reviving my YouTube channel. So if you guys really enjoy this piece and this video, and if you guys want to watch more, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If there's something else that you want me to talk about, on something, or any questions, or if you would like to see me do certain types of things, or that's music related, do feel free to drop down a comment down below, and I'll be sure to answer them, and I hopefully can try to accomplish whatever you guys want me to do. Other than that, shout out to Christian Henson and Spitfire Audio for inspiring me to do this. Go check out Christian Henson's version on SoundCloud. I'll have the link down below as well. And like, thanks, dude. Like, you really inspired me to do this, and I'm proud of myself for being able to do this on my own. I actually have written another piece, another cover of Erik Satie, which I'll be doing in the next video. So hit subscribe, hit like, and I hope to see you guys soon.